Millie Bobby Brown in a red wig takes on a dragon. Her stepmother is no one other than Angela Bassett. Robin Wright is the evil queen. There's a stupid prince. What else could you want from a Netflix fantasy? It's a movie about a woman who doesn't need anyone to save her. She does it all on her own. No wonder Damsel came out on International Women's Day. In this video, I'll explain what happened in Damsel on Netflix. Why did the dragon want 3 young women as part of her pact with the kingdom? How did Elodie manage to beat the dragon on her own? What is the true meaning of the movie? Let's answer these questions. Dragon story. The story kind of starts with usurpers being usurpers. Centuries ago, the dragon was living in a mountainous area by herself with her 3 dragon eggs about to pop. A king wanted to form his own kingdom on the land, but the dragon was a hindrance to his plans. That's why he took 12 men with him. Yes, only 12 to fight a fucking dragon. I mean, he was stupid.
Form the line!
He took the man and entered the dragon's big, maze-like cave. Finding the 3 baby dragons who had just come out of the eggs, the king ordered his men to kill the baby dragons, infuriating their mother in the process. Of course, the dragon was able to kill all 12 knights, but she did not want the king to die quickly. That's why they reached a pact. Every year she would get 3 daughters, 3 young women from his new kingdom, and in return, she would leave the kingdom alone and not attack it. The king formed his kingdom, the kingdom of Oria, and kept his promise to the dragon, but with a twist. For centuries, they brought out young women from other places and married them into their family, performing a blood oath ceremony and supposedly making them royal, tricking the dragon in the process. They sent 3 girls into the dragon's pit, one after the other, for 3 days in a year. It became a fucked up tradition to keep the dragon away from their kingdom. Hundreds of young women, the names of which we've seen in one of the safe spots of the cave, have been deceived and dropped here for the dragon to enjoy. These girls included Victoria, a young woman who wrote her name on a wall, among others. She was also the only girl who came the closest to getting out of the dragon's cave, but she ended up dead. The young woman Elodie saw on the balcony on her first night at the castle was also one of the victims, as Elodie saw her half-burned face later on. She was the first victim of the year. Elodie was the second. Elodie's story. This is how Elodie ended up in the dragon's maze-like cave system, the same as the other girls before her. The kingdom of Oria has been reaching neighboring regions with a red priestess. Think of this kingdom as the Lannisters and Elodie's family as the Starks in Game of Thrones. Elodie's family seemed to be in quite dire situation, with the approaching winter and the lack of proper food to feed the people. That's why her family was so eager to accept the terms of the marriage proposal. Marrying her off would mean better conditions for Elodie's people. As soon as Elodie was thrown into the chasm, all the absurdity of the story began. For example, she did not break any bones after falling from such a high place. I didn't believe how that fall did not kill her, but anyway, let's move on. The only details we knew about Elodie were these. 1, she wants to travel the world, and 2, she loves mazes. The first one didn't really help her in her fight against the dragon, maybe gave her more motivation, I don't know. The second one helped her though. She memorized the map of the cave and tried to find a way out, like trying to get out of a maze. She made a smart choice, like putting the light worms into a piece of cloth and turning it into a light bag, which was genius. Of course, her fight against the dragon was absurd. I was personally used to seeing bomb-like fires of the Game of Thrones dragons which caused explosions. This dragon's fire was more like lava coming out of a volcano. Even then, it didn't make sense how Elodie was able to run off from it even though she was so close to the fire. She did get burns on her body, which was realistic, but of course, magical light worms saved her. In the end, Elodie outsmarted the dragon, distracting her with the sound of metal to save her sister, but the dragon caught up. This time, Elodie used the wind and the sand to her advantage and took the dragon towards the windy area where she knew the wind would make the fire go back to hurt the dragon. And it did, but the light worms saved the day once more. After Elodie explained everything about how the kingdom has been tricking the dragon into killing other people's daughters instead of royal people, the dragon came for revenge and killed everyone, including the stupid prince. True meaning. I am not sure if there was some deep meaning behind Damsel, but I have some observations I can share. The fact that the dragon killed Henry even though he was forced by his family showed that even those who did nothing to change this cruel tradition were still responsible for the hurt it had been causing. It's not only the ones who perpetuated this hurt that are the ones responsible, but anyone who didn't say a word or tried to stop it. The death of Elodie's father was along the same lines. He knew what would happen to his daughter, but he only tried to stop it after it was too late, and he suffered the consequences. Well, of course, Damsel is also about female empowerment since a woman defeats a dragon almost on her own. Her only source of help comes from the women who suffered before her, which sends a message about female solidarity. In the end, Elodie didn't need a prince to save herself or her family's fortune. She did it herself. But an important point of the movie was the fact that she couldn't have done it without the women who drew the maps and who wrote whether an area was safe to hide or not. She wouldn't know the way to the sun without the map the women drew. She couldn't have climbed the vertical tunnel without Victoria's crown. These scenes show the selflessness of the girls who thought about helping the others who would come after they died. They didn't just think of themselves even though a dragon was on their neck. In the end, the alliance with the dragon did not only result in the dragon getting revenge for her 3 babies, it was also the revenge of all the women who died. Now, one final question. Does the dragon follow Elodie home? Probably yes. I don't think they could squeeze out another movie from this, but the ending did mean that the dragon would now be friendly towards Elodie and her people. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you soon.